Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Resurrection Day Sunday afternoon chat. My goodness, wow. We have been doing these Sunday afternoon chats for several months now. And this is finally the first one that we've got to do on an Easter Sunday. You know, I kind of looked back last year on Easter Sunday and we had just kind of got 2 or 3 months into this YouTube channel. And we had... I think about 6,300 subscribers already, and about that since the end of February. So I guess that was a couple of months. So we're thrilled about that. Now we're over 40,000, and obviously we're thrilled about that. But you know, that's not what's important today. What's important is Resurrection Sunday. To Christians, it is absolutely the most important day in their life. It's the day that Jesus Christ walked out of that grave. That's right, walked out of that grave. The devil had been trying to become equal with God forever, and the devil had thought he had won that battle of finally gaining equality with God Almighty when he killed his son, Jesus Christ. But Jesus fooled him, didn't he? He walked out of that grave. He walked out of that grave 3 days later. And gosh, I got just so much to talk to you about Resurrection Sunday. I just came from church myself. You know, hopefully Chris and I are going to get out there on that water and go fishing a little bit. Look at that. Is it gorgeous or what? However, if you'll look back there at some of those clouds, they're kind of ominous also. We had some really fierce storms coming in here last night. I mean, some fierce storms coming in here last night, and they were powerful. God was showing His power, thunder and lightning and rains. I was actually out on the lake with a buddy of mine about 11 o'clock last night when one of the big powerful storms hit. We went out after we'd been out there all day and caught a lot of fish. We went back out again after dinner about I don't know, I guess it's 9:30 or so. And at about 11 o'clock or 11:30, I mean, it dumped on us. I mean, the bottom dropped out of it, and we absolutely got soaked. We really did. Ran us off the lake. We were watching it lightning, and we thought it was going to go around us. Famous last words of Jimmy Houston: "Don't worry about that, Bobby. That's going around us. It's going to the west." It did not go to the west. It come just straight east. It was going west when I looked at it on the radar, and it had turned and came right over us, and we got over an inch of rain, 1.2 inches. We got a lot of it in our boat, as a matter of fact. But anyway, we had a great time, had a fabulous time. I don't know how anybody has a fun that's not rednecks. I just don't know how they do. But we had a great time out there. We really did. Fantastic. And so many things I want to talk to you about today. It's just amazing. I'm so excited about today. You know, when I went to church this morning, we've had church, as those of you know that's been with me through this whole thing. We've had church every Sunday. I'm a deacon at that church and been part of the decision making. I just got one vote, but my vote is one vote. And we have set up special rules. We've had church every single Sunday. We've had it inside the church with special distancing rules and all of that until today. And today we had it out in the parking lot. And the reason we did is we felt like we'd have so many people show up because it's Easter that we would not be able to observe the social distancing rules. And so we had it in the church parking lot, and it was packed. And can I tell you, listen to me. When we were driving to church this morning, it's about 20 miles from our ranch out to church where we go to Midway Hills Baptist Church. When we were going there, we passed about 5 or 6 churches along the way, which is great. I mean, I think that's fantastic that we have that many churches here in southern Oklahoma, all over the South, all over the world really, but the South, we've got churches everywhere, which is fantastic. But about 5 of them I noticed. 3 of those 5 churches were closed. There was no church. And it almost made me want to cry. But I did pass 2 churches before I got to ours, Faith and Crossway. And both of those were having parking lot services. And that made me cry also. That literally made me cry. And then when I got to our church parking lot and I saw all the cars, and I was 30 minutes early. And that's a record for a Baptist. But I was 30 minutes early, and it was packed. I mean, it was packed. It really was. There were cars everywhere, and it was just, I cried like a baby. I just thought, wow, God. People showed up for you. They did. I mean, it was amazing. And we had a great service. Chopper preached a great sermon, and it was absolutely fantastic. And they had churches like that all over America today. And you know, church is not a building. We can worship God anywhere, but we're supposed to be worshiping God with other believers, and we did. And this Resurrection Sunday, it's just really, really a big Sunday. I can remember back a long time ago. I met a guy down there in Louisiana, Monroe, Louisiana, at an outdoor event, an outdoor day that the wildlife department had in Louisiana, and they hired me to come down there and be a part of that day. And they put me in a booth by this guy that made duck calls, and his name was Phil Robertson. And Phil and I became good friends, and Phil Robinson is a great Christian man, and later him and I, oh my goodness, looky here, a deer has come walking up to me in the woods. That is Milburn. He is getting so pretty. Look, he's eating there. Look how pretty he's getting. His face is just gorgeous. He's really become my buddy, because I've been here at the ranch every day and walking in the woods with him, and he's really become my buddy. I mean, he loves me. Lucy, I'm sure, oh, there's Lucy back off over there. Yeah, there's Lucy back off over there. Yeah, I can't walk in the woods without them finding me. They hear me or smell. They probably smell me. But they hear me walking in the woods, and no matter where I am, they come and walk in the woods with me, which is, oh, that's fantastic. And yeah, deer come and walk in the woods with you. And I found a shed the other day. I found a shed that I believe was Lucy's lover. I believe I got one half of his rack, and the rack, you know, remember if he was a 5x4, and I got the 5 side, and I believe that's him. I haven't really gone back and looked at the videos. You ought to watch that video we've got out, we put out maybe this week of when he was doing his courting and Lucy was doing her playing hard to get. She's getting a little tummy on her though. I think we're going to have some baby Lucys. I hope so. I'd like to have 2. That'd be great. She's getting a little tummy on her. I mean, she's getting a little tummy on her. She sure is. So, but anyway, I was talking about Phil Robertson, but I met this guy. He's a fascinating guy. This is way before Duck Dynasty. He was just he's a great man at that time. He wasn't a celebrity. He wasn't a television star, which he later became one. But, and then Phil Robinson, and Phil, you know, I was right. He had a booth right beside me, and I spent the entire day with him. And he was just such a fascinating man. I love him to death. I still love him to death today. Later on, we got to work some churches together. I remember one church in I believe it was in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I'm just not positive, but I think it was in North Carolina. And him and I was both speaking, and he just is so powerful. He does such a great job. And I remember him making a statement to me about the time that a man explained to him about a dead man walking out of a grave. And he said, "Jimmy, that's a pretty big deal. A dead man walking out of the grave." He said, "That's something you need to pay attention to." And that changed Phil Robinson's life, and it changed the life of a lot of his family, and really probably countless thousands and thousands of people. And obviously the fact that a dead man walked out of the grave changed the lives for millions of people, not only as we walk through this earth, but for eternity, for all eternity. For all eternity, it changes your life, for all eternity. His little horns are getting a little bit bigger. Probably going to be a spike or something. He's not going to be a world champion, but he's my buddy. He's my buddy anyway. But you know, Resurrection Sunday it's an amazing thing to think about, you know. And one of the things that my preacher talked about today was what Resurrection Sunday really gave us as we walk through this life. Not what it means to have salvation and to be able to spend eternity in heaven. And you know, we're all going to live forever. We're all going to spend eternity in either heaven or hell. That's your choice. I mean, you can make that. A lot of you choose to live your eternity in hell, and I guess that's fine. That's not my call. That's between you and God. And a lot of us we choose to live our eternity in heaven with God. And so we're given the opportunity to do that. Jesus died on that cross because of that, and he walked out of that grave to prove that he had victory over death. He had created victory over death, not just for him, but for you and me, because we'll do the exact same thing. And but anyway, our preacher was talking about the things And I think I can remember all of them. But the things, and I want to talk about some of these over the next few weeks on our Sunday afternoon chat. So if you've got some friends that you think might need to hear some of this, you might let them know so they can subscribe to the Jimmy Houston Outdoors channel. And thank you so much, all of you that are on here. It's just amazing. I think when I looked at that last Easter, we had, I don't know if we had I think we might have had 3,600 or something. I'm thinking 6,300. I think it was 3,600. And because it's only a couple months, probably 3,600. And now we've got over 40,000 and growing every day. And I think it will take off and just, I don't know where it's going to end up. But trying to rain out there. Looky there. It's kind of sprinkling rain. I'm up here in the woods, can't even feel it. But up here with my babies. But I don't, what was I talking about? I was talking about what the preacher was preaching about. But you know, he talked about the things that it meant to a Christian as he walked through the earth. And he mentioned 5 things that the resurrection provides. And I think I might expand on these some and talk about them because they're things that I talk about anyway. Some of y'all have heard me talking about some of them. Number 1 is hope. You know, it gives a Christian hope. You know, if you're saved, if you're a born-again Christian, if you have a close working relationship with God, you have hope. If you're watching the news, especially most of the mainstream media, you have no hope right now. They're doomsday prognosticators. They're not experts. They're just saying, oh, it's bad, it's terrible, things are bad. And they're running down America. They're running down our president. They're running down our Congress. Doesn't matter whether you're a Democrat or Republican or independent or libertarian or whatever you are. Politics doesn't matter at all. You look at the media and they're thinking everything they can do to run down the president. They hate the president. A lot of y'all hate the president. I know too, and that's fine. I've met him. I've shook the man's hand. I've visited with him. I think he's doing a great job as president. That's just my personal opinion. Don't write me letters about it. That's fine. And if you hate him, that's fine also. But you know, we've got no hope in the mainstream media. We've got no hope in watching television. We've got no hope in them telling us that we're all going to die and that the president is doing a lousy job and we need to impeach him or whatever we need to do. They would rather us die if President Trump could not get elected. And so a lot of other people in Congress too, you know, they're willing to let us die for that, and they're telling us that's what's going to happen. Well, let me tell you, that's not what's going to happen. That's not what's going to happen. God's got this. God is in control. That news media is not in control. Whatever they want, whatever they wish. Oh, you hear that thunder? Yes, sir, Lord. Yes, sir. He just told me, yes, Jimmy, I am in control. Yes, Jimmy, I am in control. He certainly is. That's putting a little emphasis on it right there, isn't it? Woo, my goodness, that's putting some emphasis on it. That is amazing right there that happened. But I don't know if y'all heard that or not, but it was a pretty good thunder, bunch of thunder that happened right there. Supposed to have some thunderstorms in here in a couple hours. I was hoping it'd wait a little bit longer because I was really wanting to get out there and take Chris out there and let her try to catch a fish or two. She hasn't got to go fishing the last couple of days. Milburn, I don't want to play right now. I'm busy, baby. I'm busy, honey. I'm busy, baby doll. I am busy, Milburn. I do not want to play. He says, well, I want to play right now. I don't have time to you messing around that telephone. But anyway, it gives you hope. The news media gives you no hope. God gives you hope. God gives you hope every single day. God's got plans for you. He's got a destiny for you. He's got dreams to fulfill. He's got control of your life. The virus doesn't control your life. The virus is not going to determine when you leave this earth for eternity. God's going to determine that. So it gives you hope. It also gives you enthusiasm. People, I talk a lot to, you know, my son and my kids when they were growing up and they were talking about something. You know how kids are sometime, and oh yeah, Dad, yeah, I'm saying, come on, can I get a little enthusiasm? Talk with enthusiasm. To whatever you tell and do something, do it with enthusiasm. Well, one of the reasons that I'm enthusiastic is because of my relationship with Jesus Christ, and I can't help but be enthusiastic. And so when Jesus walked out of that grave, he gives the Christians enthusiasm. He also gives you endurance. He gives you endurance. He gives you a way. He gives you a way to make it through coronavirus. He makes it a way to get you through bad economic situations. And we got a little bit of both going on right now. I've lost a ton of money by this coronavirus already. And God will give it back, and he'll probably give it back double. That's what's going to happen. He gives you endurance during health problems. He gives you endurance during family problems. He gives you endurance during every problem that you can ever think of. So He gives you a way to stick to it and make it through, because you know, you don't think, you don't imagine, you don't hope, you know that God is in control. God's got this. God's got this. He's going to make it work. And He tells us, and I've told you this before, all things work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to His purpose. So, all things, including the coronavirus, all things, including losing $35,000 in appearances through this virus, all things, including, not selling boats like we normally sell boats, not having the business in the tackle store, not doing this, not doing that, whatever. All things work together. And so I'm just going to trust Him to let that happen. Another thing is purpose. He gives you a purpose in life. You know what that purpose is? It's not your purpose, it's God's purpose. He gives you a purpose in your life. And your purpose is to put Him first in your life, and when you do that, He rewards you. He's a rewarder. He will bless you, and He'll shine His favor down upon you, and amazing things will happen in your life. Amazing things will happen in your life. And then, of course, He gives you attitude. I talk about this a lot because I think it's probably as important as anything in the world. Attitude, attitude, attitude. Your day is not governed by what happens to you. You know that. Your day is governed by what you create out of it. I am going to have a great day. I am going to have fun. Like last night when it poured down rain and thunder and lightning and we got soaked, we were laughing and carrying on and having a ball, I got my power poles down accidentally. My buddy stepped on the power pole buttons, put them down, and I thought I don't know what happened. I thought I had grass on my motor or something. I couldn't move. I'm going forwards, going backwards. And I said, I don't know, we're stuck out here and it's thunder and lightning, pouring down rain. I said, I can't move the boat. And I said, I got a log or something caught on my motor because I can't move the boat. I just can't move it. And I told Grant, I said, shine a light back here and see if there's a log caught on my motor. He shined a light and he said, Jimmy, your power poles are down. And I said, well, I gotta get the power poles down. But my buddy was up in the front of the boat and evidently he'd hit the down button and put the power poles down. So, but even at that, we laughed. We had a good fun. I said, holy cow, Now, in some situations, because we could have tore up the power poles, which I don't think we did. I mean, they come right back up. We loaded the boat and got in out of the rain. But you can get upset. You can get up mad. You say, oh, you stupid idiot. What are you doing putting your foot on the power pole up there? You see those buttons go up and down? Keep your foot off those buttons and go up. But didn't. We laughed about it. We had a good time. We had fun with it. So attitude. So those are the things that the resurrection gave you as you walk through this life. Those are the things that they gave you as you walk through this life. They gave you hope. They gave you enthusiasm. They gave you endurance. They gave you a purpose. And they gave you the right attitude. Because how can it not all of that be when you know that one of these days, when you breathe your last breath on this earth, because of Jesus walking out of that grave, you're going to spend eternity in heaven. I'm suspecting that not too far in the distant future, life's going to be back to normal here in America. All the naysayers about the doom and gloom and all the media that wants us all to die, I guess, so they have a great news story. That'll all be forgotten. America will get back to normal. America will succeed again. The economic crisis that this has caused will go away. And won't be too far in the future. All of this won't be important to us. Can I tell you if you're saved? Because Jesus walking out of that grave, nothing, 10,000 years from now, 20,000 years from now, nothing that ever happened on this earth that you thought was a crisis, that you thought was critical, that you thought was bad, will ever matter. You'll just be looking at another 10,000 years of glory. So, celebrate this Resurrection Sunday, this Easter day. Celebrate it if you're a Christian. If you're not, God's got an easy plan of salvation for you. He's got an easy way for you to become one of His. And it'll change your life. I have read an article this morning that Chris gave me. Chris is a Facebook fan. She doesn't even have a Facebook channel. She uses mine, but or Facebook page, I guess they call it on Facebook. She uses mine, but she read one. I won't mention the people's names. They probably would not matter, but some people here in Oklahoma talked about their life, their marriage, everything going downhill, addictions of alcohol and gambling, and they'd gone to church some as a kid, but it had been years and years and years since they'd been in church. And for some reason, 8 years ago today, they decided they'd get up and go to church. Get up and go to church. Because it was Easter. They got the kids all ready, put their little beautiful little daughter in a pretty little dress and beautiful little white shoes, and went to church Easter Sunday. And the statement was, God got a hold of us and he's never let go. 8 years ago. And she had pictures there of her little, beautiful little daughter in her Easter dress, but in her beautiful little white shoes. And those white shoes was covered in mud. And they said when they picked her up from children's church, one of the ladies said, hey, put some muck boots on that little girl and bring her back next Sunday. And they've been bringing her back every Sunday since. They got grandkids now, and God's changed their life. That's what Easter Sunday is really all about. God changing lives. All of us that's got that hope, that endurance, that enthusiasm, that attitude, that purpose, we're there. We're there. But for those of you that are not, you certainly can do. Hey, that's that storm back there behind me. Look at that. The sun's better in this direction anyway, you know. I just like to look at the water. I mean, but you see that storm? It's rumbling back there. God's coming with some more rain. Let me tell you, though, what a great stager God is. What a great stager God really is. We had all those severe storms here last night. Huge thunder, lightning, rained over an inch, 1.2 inches, I think, here at my ranch. We needed it. We'd only had 1/10 the entire month of April. So we needed a little rain on everything. But all of that bad stuff, every station forecasting rain all day today. And yet, 3 churches I know of right here in Murray County, probably hundreds all over the South, thousands maybe, that had church out in the parking lot with a preacher standing on a trailer or under a tent or whatever they were available for them to get. And during that church service, bright bluebird skies, absolutely 100% gorgeous, because God knew and God planned in his weather forecast for those churches to have beautiful weather, to have church service in the parking lot, and for all of those people to show up. And ours was jammed. The other churches I saw, theirs were getting jammed too, you know, as I went through there. Our churches we do 10:30, some of them were doing 11, so I know some of them had, I guess you don't know what you say, standing room only or tire room only or whatever, but those parking lot services were absolutely great. Well, it looks like that storm is going to bring rain, so I'm going to wrap this up. We got some great videos coming up this week on Jimmy Houston Outdoors. I'll probably visit with you a little bit tomorrow, an extra video. I got some things I want to talk about, but I appreciate you. I love you. You know I love you, and have yourself a great Resurrection Day. God loves you too. Guys and girls, I love you. Later.